Real cases, real crimes. Some vanish without a trace. Others leave behind more questions than answers. When the trail goes cold and the truth hides in the shadows, this is Mysteries Unsolved. What happened to the missing women of the Highway of Tears? Stretching 724 kilometers through British Columbia, Highway 16, infamously known as the Highway of Tears, has become a haunting symbol of systemic failure. Between Prince George and Prince Rupert, at least 18 women, many Indigenous, vanished or were found murdered between 1969 and 2006. Advocates argue the number is far higher, possibly over 50, extending well beyond that time frame. The victims were mostly young women, some as young as 12, navigating life amidst poverty, limited transportation, and the enduring scars of the Canadian Indian residential school system. With few transit options, many resorted to hitchhiking. That vulnerability would prove fatal. Gloria Moody was the first known victim. In 1969, the 27-year-old was found murdered near Williams Lake. Her death marked the beginning of a pattern. Micheline Perry followed in 1970, and by 1973, teenagers like Gail Ways and Pamela Darlington had been murdered. The youngest known victim, Monica Jack, was only 12 when she disappeared in 1978. Her remains were found years later. In 1998, the term Highway of Tears was coined during a vigil held in Terrace, capturing the grief of families long ignored by authorities. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police launched Project E-Pana in 2005, focusing on 18 cases that fit a strict profile. Women engaged in high-risk behavior, last seen near highways, and believed to be victims of foul play. But Project E-Pana's scope was narrow. Women like Alberta Williams, who vanished in 1989, and Jessica Patrick, found deceased in 2018, were often excluded despite clear similarities. Indigenous communities pushed back, accusing the RCMP of systemic bias and negligence. Some cases were eventually solved. In 2012, DNA linked American serial killer Bobby Jack Fowler to the 1974 murder of Colleen McMillan. He is suspected, but not definitively tied, to the murders of Pamela Darlington and Gail Ways. In 2014, Gary Taylor Handlin was convicted for killing Monica Jack. Cody Allen Legabakoff, one of Canada's youngest serial killers, was convicted in 2010 for the murder of Lauren Dawn Leslie, 15, near the highway. However, these successes are rare. Most cases remain unsolved, hampered by the remote terrain, lack of witnesses, and limited physical evidence. For years, the highway had no cellular service, no transit system, and little surveillance, conditions that made crimes easier to commit and harder to solve. Midway through this story, we ask, do you believe the RCMP has done enough to investigate these cases? Let us know in the comments. Autopsy results in several cases confirmed violent ends. Maureen Fuchsbichler died from a stab wound to the heart. Nina Joseph was found with a cord around her neck, yet leads often dried up. Witnesses, if any, were hard to find, and fear or distrust of law enforcement silenced many. In 2006, the Highway of Tears Symposium made 33 recommendations, ranging from better emergency planning to public transit. Some change followed. Limited bus service was introduced in 2017. By 2022, cellular towers expanded coverage along the route. Yet critics argue these steps came too late and remain insufficient. The issue reached national prominence during Canada's inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, launched in 2016. Its final 2019 report labeled the crisis a genocide, citing systemic racism, neglect, and colonial violence as key factors. Media coverage surged in the 2000s, especially after Nicole Hoare, a 25-year-old non-Indigenous woman, vanished in 2002. Her case received significant attention, prompting criticism that only certain victims were seen as worthy of public concern. Indigenous activists have tirelessly sought justice, organizing vigils, protests, and awareness campaigns. Their message is clear: The violence is not random, but rooted in deeper issues: poverty, racism, and a legacy of state neglect. Today, the Highway of Tears remains a place of mourning and activism. Families still search for answers. While a few perpetrators were brought to justice, the road remains a symbol of unhealed wounds and unfulfilled promises. If you have any information related to these cases, contact local authorities or the RCMP tip line. Every voice counts. Like, share, and subscribe for more cases. Thanks for watching another episode of Mysteries Unsolved.